Today we are going to talk about a very controversial topic: hidden miseries of high-value women. I know it's going to trigger some people, probably both men and women, especially women. No matter if you are a high-value woman or you want to be one, or if you are a high-value man and you want to understand the world and the difficulties of women and high-value women in general, then this video is also for you, and especially for you guys. I want you to make sure that you give me your feedback, because being a woman, I know only one side of the story, and what I know from men is only theory for me, or my life experience, which can be different. So I want to make sure that you give me the feedback on those points. And some of those miseries are actually both relevant for men and women, but because men and women are very different, there are also many points which are very different. First of all, what is a high-value woman? Well, the general understanding is that high-value woman is somebody who excels in different spheres of her life, like career or personal development, social standing, somebody who's confident, accomplished, and admired by many people. However, with great success, comes some unique challenges, that we have to talk about. And when it comes to the definition of a high-value woman, I must admit I have my own understanding about it. And I want also guys to help me with this, let me know what you think. Because to me, high-value woman is basically two things. It's femininity and freedom. Yeah? Being a high-value woman means feminine. If there's somebody who is high-value but is not feminine, it's not a high-value woman anymore. To my understanding, from the men's perspective. Tell me if I'm wrong, You can be a high-value person, but if you want to be a high-value woman, you have to be a woman in the first place, which means feminine behavior, feminine looks, feminine attitudes in life. And when it comes to high value in general, like a person, whether man or woman, there's a lot going on today outside. I don't know if you can hear, but anyway. So when it comes to high value, I also have my own understanding about it. High value for me means freedom. High value for me means freedom. So if you have your great career and you have an expensive car, but you have to pay monthly large payments for this car, then you are serving this car. I'm talking about a car and somebody's really driving, having fun driving out there. Anyway, my point is, if you have a luxurious house or a car or any kind of material thing that you have to pay for on a monthly basis, you have to work hard, and maybe you have to work 7 days per week, or you have to work late in the evening. So basically you're becoming like a slave of your own desires, because you are serving your own material stuff. Like a car, for example, like you can drive a Tesla, but if it means that you have to work way too hard and you don't have freedom in life, you don't have time for your personal life, for your friends, for your family, spending time with your partner. A woman needs time for the family life much more than a man, usually. But I will talk about it in this video a bit later. It's just in general, my idea is that high value means freedom. It's on all levels. It's like financial freedom, freedom of mind, freedom to travel, to live the life on your own terms. This is high value for me. In my case, for example, I have an old car, but it runs perfectly. It's a bit small, so I can park everywhere. I can sneak in the places other cars cannot. I can always find a place. It's perfect for me, and I don't have to pay any monthly payment. It belongs to me, it's my property. And the same with the place I live in. It's not the most luxurious house, but maybe it's a bit small for some people's taste, but it belongs to me. I don't have to pay any monthly payment, meaning that for me, freedom is much more important than showing off. Because of course, if you have so much money that for you it's no problem if you buy an expensive car or an extra luxurious house, you still manage, you still have your freedoms because you just have much more money, it's no problem for you. Then go ahead and buy it and enjoy the latest model of a car, even though in general it's not the best investment because the car will lose its value in the few years dramatically. Yeah? But if you want to show off and buy the latest model of whatever, iPhone, a car, whatever, no problem, as long as you are still financially free. Because you can be financially free on a different scale, of course. Most important is that you're free, and I think that a high-value person, be it a man or a woman, should be free. This is my understanding of high value, and it's not the common understanding of this kind of like, I want to have a car bigger than my neighbor has, or I want to, as long as material items can serve you and not the other way around, that you become a servant of your material world, then it's totally fine. For example, if I have my coffee machine, which is pretty old, this coffee machine is at least 10 years old, but it functions perfectly. It makes nice cappuccinos for me. Why should I buy a new coffee machine just to have a new model, I'm quite satisfied with the quality of the coffee it is making. And it is the same thing with everything in life. You don't have to chase the last model of an iPhone or whatever. Okay, now that we have the definition of a high-value woman, then the first struggle is relationships. Because usually when women, when they grow into a new identity, let's put it this way, then usually they want to meet a guy who can be on their level or even higher. Because, historically it is like this, that women were looking for protectors and providers, the best possible they can get. Because this way they could be sure that they will not die, they will survive. Because if you spend time with somebody who is weak, who is not able to provide back then you could just die. I mean, nowadays it's a bit different, but still it's more similar than we think sometimes. Sometimes we have these crazy ideas that men and women are completely the same and so on. But this is of course nonsense. Because still now men are much stronger and they can handle things women cannot. For a man's survival, he doesn't need a woman. If a man would need to survive in a jungle, he doesn't need a woman. If a woman wants to survive in jungle, especially if she wants to have a baby, she definitely needs a man. And nowadays in the modern society, it's a little bit different, because it's not a jungle. And some things you can arrange with, social systems and so on. But still, if you're a woman, there will be many situations in life when you need a man. Basically, it can be about survival as well, somewhere on the streets, or when it comes to being a mom, then you really need somebody to take care, to protect, to provide. So what I'm saying that actually a man doesn't really need a woman to sustain himself, and women, they need men much more, to be happy, basically, to fulfill their role in life and to really open up and feel secure. So that's why usually women, they really look for somebody who are on the same level or higher. And that's why if you are a high-value woman, it means the pool of potential partners is becoming smaller and smaller. And yes, But is it the reason not to develop? Of course not. You know, this is the most stupid logic, yeah? Like, let's stay on your level so that you have more, you know, potential partners. But if you follow this logic, you can say, let's just degrade, so you increase the number of your potential partners. No, no. Of course, it's not the reason not to develop, but it's just, you know, this channel is all about building freedom in life and building the life so that you can enjoy it. So if you become more, like if you follow this path and you become more high value, and if you're a woman, you're going to face this fact that you have less potential partners around. So it can be struggles in the relationships. And some women also say that when they become more like successful, then they like men become too challenged, or you know, they don't feel comfortable with this. I think this is but especially men, help me out with this one, because I think that the problem here is not that a woman is successful. The problem with this, if she loses her femininity, because sometimes if a woman is successful, she has more tendency to behave like a boss also at home, yeah, with her own man. And this kind of behavior is, of course, not feminine at all, you know, and because then a woman is dominating, and, you know, and a man then would not feel like respected or something. So I guess this is more the reason, not the success itself is challenging, but the behavior of the woman that is just not any more sexy and not any more feminine at all. I think this is the problem, that many high value, so to say, high value women, which are not, according to my definition, as I mentioned before, high value women have to be feminine. And if she loses this, and she's just successful as a person, but forgets about her femininity, about looking feminine, about behaving feminine, about respecting your man for being a man, then this is more the problem with so-called successful women or high-value women than the actual success. But guys, I really want you to comment on this. What do you think? What is the challenge here with high-value women when it comes to relationships? And I'm really curious what you think, because for me it's more like, you know, everything what I'm saying about men is really not my experience, so I need your help here. The second thing that I want to mention, you know, when it comes to being a high-value woman and the struggles women have, is in general being lonely. You know, because when we become high-value, it's very natural that, you know, less people you meet who understand you. It's a lonely path, you know. The path to success is a lonely path, both for men and women. But the problem is, like I already mentioned, is that men still can be okay on their own. They still can be happy on their own. It's their nature. They can survive on their own. And when it comes to women, it's completely different, you know. Women is like space that needs to contain something. And men are just like pure energy that can just manifest on its own, and still it's fun, you know. So I find men and women so different on this point, that being lonely, of course, it's also for men, being lonely is not so good. Guys, please help me out and tell me if loneliness is a big issue for you. But do you understand this difference? Do you feel that sometimes you're okay being alone and you still feel like you are in peace, yeah? And for a woman, being alone is more like a time when she can work on herself and kind of recover from her past, maybe if it was a difficult divorce or something, and then she's like waiting for the future to become completely happy, because somehow she cannot be fully like happy on her own. I think it's very relevant for women, more for men, that they need a family, also kids and so on. This is like their programming that they have. I don't say it's for all women like this, but in general, when we talk about average numbers, like an average man, an average woman, an average high-value guy or an average high-value woman, I think it's really like this, that being lonely, it's really the path of successful people, but still be more lonely, you can say. But nowadays, actually, you can find a lot of like-minded people on internet, and this is what I really like about this channel, that I meet here a lot of very interesting, very high-value people, both men and women, that it would be difficult just to meet on the street, or if, you know, I join some local club here. So I'm very happy about this, but in general, it's really more difficult for women. And if you don't think so, and also if you're a woman, let me know what you think, and if you're a guy, let me know what you think. You know, this video is very controversial because there's so much, you know, so many different opinions on this topic, and also like, yeah, modern society is gender roles are kind of like not fixed like they used to be. I generally think there is a lot of confusion when it comes to the gender roles and, you know, men and women in general. So I really wish that you give me your feedback on this one. The next challenge of high-value women that I want to talk about here is balancing your work, your business or career in general with your family life. Because it's kind of like when you pursue your dreams, yes, it's hard to be, you know, a woman at home and then a boss at work. You know, it's kind of like two different roles that you have to find time for everything. So it can feel a little bit like you are failing in both. And the thing is that sometimes you have to, you know, to compromise. And as a woman, my opinion and my advice is that staying feminine is the most important for a high-value woman. It means making time for her partner, for her personal life, for her family is priority compared to your work, career, and so on. And for the guy, it's the other way around. The guy should prioritize his, you know, his function of being a provider, being a protector. And then when a guy prioritizes this part and a woman prioritizes, you know, private life, family, and so on, then there's some balance in the partnership, in the family, in general, yeah. Because at some point, both men and women, they have to compromise some things, yeah. And a guy, it's okay if he's more busy at work. And if its guy is staying at home and the woman is always busy, this is a little bit like a disbalance, you know. So for men, being a provider and a protector is like the main mission throughout history. And for women, taking care of the man, of the children, of the family in general, of the home in general, is the main mission of women throughout history. This is how we survive as human species. And this is still within us. This is still what makes us attractive to each other. Men are attracted to women when they fulfill their female functions, as well as women are attracted to men when they fulfill their male functions. Even though it's okay that both develop in different spheres, it's just you have to prioritize what is most important. And if you're a high-value woman, it's about being a woman, being feminine, because this is what is the core of being a woman. This is the value of being a woman. This is completely fine, you know. Because men and women are just different and are still very different. The next point is number 4 here in this video. And of course there are different things, but those 4 points I wanted to really to emphasize is the next one is staying authentic. Because being a high value woman, you know, you get so many expectations from people of how you should appear, how you should behave, and so on. But the most important here is that you are just staying yourself. You are staying a woman, you are staying feminine, you are staying the person you are, you've always been, basically. You're true to your value, your own values, you know. You don't have to pretend somebody you are not, or thinking now you only have to talk to those people because they are from this circle. And you know, being yourself, enjoying the life on your own terms, being independent, being free, and being also like free in being authentic. You don't have to always do only things that high value women are supposed to do. You can be simple. You can enjoy life like it is. You can drive to the woods and enjoy nature. You know, you don't have to always stay in some luxurious place or something, like, you know, all the stereotypes. You can be yourself and appear as you are. Being authentic is very important for everybody, and especially for high value people who sometimes start living like a double life, like having this showing off kind of picture for the rest of the world and deep inside still being themselves. You can be both, meaning you can be high value and you can be authentic, you can be yourself. It doesn't have to be complicated. And I think it's this point is relevant for both men and women. Let me know what you think about this one. I think it's quite important. You don't have to lose your identity. You don't have to lose who you truly are. So those were 4 main points when it comes to struggles of high value women. And I want to give women an advice. And guys, let me know what you think about this. My advice to women is to never compete with her own man. Because it's just ridiculous, you know? Historically, men only compete with men and women with women. Mostly men compete among men, you know? So if a woman starts competing with a man, it's so crazy. It's like, imagine a long time ago sitting in a cave as a woman and 2 guys start fighting for you and you're sitting there and waiting for the results. So the stronger guy has to get you, so to say. But then you go out of the cave and start also fighting with them. Imagine the faces of those guys, you know. It is just so ridiculous also nowadays when men see that women start competing with them, like, oh, my car is even bigger than yours, or more or less the same, or if you have this property, I also have, you know, this kind of competition makes no sense for men, as far as I understand, because you're trying to compete with a guy on his level, of his male level, so to say. It's the same like you are trying to physically compete with him. And I hope it's not disturbing to say that men are, of course, physically stronger than women. That's why there's sports for women and sports for men, because women can never compete with men. So being a high-value woman, even if you have a lot of things, you should never compete with a guy, because he's great in his own qualities. You can never compete with him. He has the strength, he has this ability, you know, to go through difficulties or to do things that you cannot do as well as a man. As it's the same like a guy would compete with a woman, like in her qualities, like being feminine or something. It's the same crazy thing. So my advice to women, high-value women, especially because it can be, you know, the case exactly with high-value women, because they can compete with men. But it's ridiculous. It's not sexy. It's not attractive. It's nonsense. So this is my advice. Let me know what you think about it, especially if you're a guy, if this is true or not, what you think. I know, okay, this video might be very contradictory Yeah, let's just honestly share in the comments what we think about it. I'm open to all different kinds of opinions here. I'm only sharing how I understand this path of a high-value woman. I'm not pretending anything. I'm being completely authentic about who I am, like what I have or what I don't have. No, I don't pretend to know everything. I'm only sharing my experience and my knowledge, and I'm really curious to hear what you think. I'm sure it's not the same as what I think, because people have different opinions, and it's also fine, you know, because this is what makes it, you know, rich, this potential that we have different points of view, or we see things from different angles. That's why don't hesitate to tell your opinion, which is like 100% different from mine, because I want to learn from you. A lot of things when I talk about guys is not something I can truly understand, because only a guy can truly understand this. That's why your feedback is very important for me. I want to learn about it. I want to learn about it because I'm going the path towards freedom. I want to be a high-value woman. I want to stay this way also in the future. So there are a lot of things I want to learn. Any kind of constructive criticism is also welcome here. But if you watched so far, it means you like the video, so make sure to give it a like. Subscribe to this channel if you're interested in building freedom in life, enjoying life on your own terms, being a high value, men or women, you know, both. Watch some other videos on this channel which could also be useful for you. And I will see you in the next video. And also, if you know somebody who this video can help, you know, then make sure you also share it with others. I really hope this video can help a lot of people. Stay strong, stay true to yourself, and take care.